Hello there, it's midnight and you are tuning in to Nightline with me, Nadia Azmi. These are the headlines. IMF revises Malaysia's 2024 GDP higher to 4.4%. And Israel vows to retaliate against Iran amid concerns. Good morning. British Foreign Minister David Cameron on Wednesday said Israel has clearly decided to retaliate against Iran for missile and drone attacks in the starkest warning yet of another volley coming in regional escalation. During a visit to Jerusalem, Cameron said it was clear the Israelis are making a decision to act and that he hopes they do so in a way that does as little to escalate this as possible.
But it's clear the Israelis are making a decision to act. We hope they do so in a way that does as little to escalate this as possible, and in a way that, as I said yesterday, is smart as well as tough. But the real need is to refocus back on Hamas, back on the hostages, back on getting the aid in, back on getting a pause in the conflict in Gaza. That's why I'm here today, to talk to the Israeli government, to talk to the Palestinian Authority, to try and push those things forward.
Cameron's statement came as Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said his country will make its own decisions about how to defend itself. In the meantime, Iran's President Ibrahim Raisi has warned that the tiniest invasion by Israel would bring a massive and harsh response. World powers are striving to prevent a wider outbreak of conflict in the Middle East after Iran's unprecedented attacks on Saturday night, which involved hundreds of missiles and drones. Meanwhile, Wisma Putra stressed that the evacuation of Malaysians, including students in the Middle East, may not be necessary at this point of time as the situation remains stable and considered safe for travel. It added that it will continue to closely monitor developments in the region and has established an operations room which focuses on Iran, Iraq, Jordan and Lebanon to ensure a timely and effective response to any emerging situation. The Foreign Ministry, in a statement on Wednesday, urged all Malaysians residing in or travelling to the region to remain vigilant and stay informed about the current situation. The ministry also said that it is essential for Malaysians to adhere to the regulations and guidelines set forth by the relevant authorities in the countries concerned. It added that the people are also encouraged to contact and register themselves with the Malaysian embassy or consulate in the respective countries they are residing in or visiting, which will facilitate communication and assistance in the event of any emergency. The statement came after Iran conducted a massive drone and missile attack on Israel on Saturday in response to Tel Aviv's aggression on its consulate in Syria early this month. The International Monetary Fund (IMF) has revised the outlook for Malaysia's real gross domestic product GDP for 2024 by a notch from its earlier prediction of 4.3%. In its latest World Economic Outlook (WEO) entitled Steady but Slow: Resilience Amid Divergence, the IMF predicted the GDP growth to remain at 4.4% in 2025. The IMF projected Malaysia's current account balance at 2.4% in 2024 and 2.7% in 2025. For global growth, it estimated it to be at 3.2% for last year and to continue at the same pace in 2024 and 2025. The forecast for 2024 is revised up by 0.1 percentage point from the January 2024 WEO update and by 0.3 percentage point from the October 2023 WEO. The IMF added that the pace of expansion is low by historical standards owing to both near-term factors such as still high borrowing costs and withdrawal of fiscal support and longer-term effects from the COVID-19 pandemic and Russia's invasion of Ukraine, weak productivity growth and increasing geo-economic fragmentation. On the downside, the fund stressed that new price spikes stemming from geopolitical tensions, including those from the Ukraine war and the Middle East conflict, could, along with persistent core inflation where labour markets are still tight, raise interest rate expectations and reduce asset prices. It also said that geo-economic fragmentation could intensify with higher barriers to the flow of goods, capital and people, implying a supply-side slowdown. On the upside, looser than necessary fiscal policy and assumed projections could raise economic activity in the short term while risking costly policy adjustments later on. Inflation could fall faster than expected amid further gains in labour force participation, allowing central banks to bring easing plans forward. The IMF also reported that global headline inflation is expected to fall to 5.9% in 2024 and 4.5% in 2025 from an annual average of 6.8% in 2023, with advanced economies returning to their inflation targets sooner than emerging market and developing economies. The government, through the Home Ministry, will draft new legislation aimed at enhancing security at all entry points in the country. Unity Government spokesperson Fahmi Fadil said the bill would establish a central coordinating agency to streamline operations among the relevant security agencies.
Supaya ada satu agensi penyelaras di antara beberapa agensi yang terlibat untuk mengawal selia pintu masuk negara, mempunyai punca kuasa dari segi undang-undang untuk mereka beroperasi dengan kuasa yang secukupnya.
Fahmi said this in a media conference in Putrajaya on Wednesday when asked if the cabinet had discussed the shooting incident that occurred at the Kuala Lumpur International Airport KLIA Terminal 1 on Sunday. In the 1:15 a.m. incident, a man fired 2 shots at his wife at the airport's arrival hall but missed. However, one of the shots hit the women's bodyguard, who is currently being treated at a hospital. Fahmi, who is also the communications minister, stressed that security aspects at all entry points in the country are always prioritized to curb illegal activities, including smuggling. He also said that the cabinet is leaving the matter regarding the shooting incident to the authorities to take follow-up actions. Meanwhile, Fahmi revealed that the government has decided not to proceed with the Petaling Jaya Disperser Link PJD Link elevated highway project. He said the decision followed the concessionaire's failure to fulfill 6 of 11 conditions set by the government, adding that the Works Ministry would issue a further statement on this matter.
Jemaah Menteri pada hari ini telah membuat keputusan bahawa tidak akan melanjutkan perbincangan dengan pihak PJD Link. Ya, pihak PJD Link telah memohon pelanjutan untuk memenuhi sejumlah syarat ataupun condition precedent, tapi ini telah ditolak oleh pihak kerajaan.
In July last year, the Selangor state government announced the cancellation of the proposed PJD Link project. However, Menteri Besar Datuk Seri Amiruddin Syari later called for the concessionaire to renegotiate the project's alignment with the federal government. Previously, the controversial project was opposed by local residents and environmental activists who claimed that the project would exacerbate traffic congestion and increase temperature in Petaling Jaya by trapping more heat, as well as lead to severe flooding. All parties in the Unity government has agreed that the government must take firm action that is in line with the legal framework and not compromise against any extreme actions that could jeopardise the country's stability. Unity Government Secretariat Chief Dato' Ashraf Wajdi Dusuki said the matter was decided at the Unity Government Leadership Consultative Council meeting at Sri Perdana Putrajaya on Wednesday. Ashraf, in a statement posted on his Facebook account, said the meeting took a serious view of the actions of certain parties in manipulating public sentiment, leading to increased racial and religious tensions that could threaten the harmony of the country and the unity of its multi-ethnic society. He added that the council also agreed to continue to uphold the orientation and approach of moderate politics as the basis for the well-being and harmony of the multi-religious and multi-ethnic society. Ashraf stated that with a moderate approach, the Unity government will be able to focus on policies that can improve the well-being of the people, especially in tackling the cost of living, as well as ensuring quality job opportunities and the country's economic stability. In addition, he said the meeting also discussed preparations for the Kuala Kubu Baru state by-election in Selangor on May 11th. The meeting agreed to let the top leadership nominate the candidate to represent the parties in the Unity government. The coordination of the by-election machinery's operations and parties in the unity government will be jointly chaired by Barisan Nasional Secretary-General Datuk Seri Zamri Abdul Kadir and DAP National Organising Secretary Stephen Sim. Parti Bersatu Rakyat Sabah PBRS founding president Tan Sri Joseph Kurup passed away on Wednesday. He was 80. The veteran politician's passing was confirmed by his son, Dato Arthur Joseph Kurup's staff. It is learned that Joseph died at the National Heart Institute. He leaves behind wife Puan Sri Melinda Mat Sok Fong and 6 children. Joseph's political career began in 1985 when he won the Suk state seat in the Sabah state election as a member of Parti Bersatu Sabah PBS. In his illustrious career, he held various positions, including Minister in the Prime Minister's Department, Deputy Energy and Natural Resources Minister, and Deputy Rural and Regional Development Minister. A small trader escaped the gallows after the federal court commuted his death sentence to 35 years in prison for killing a man 9 years ago. A panel of 3 judges led by Chief Justice Tun Tengku Maimun Mat unanimously allowed the review filed by 59-year-old Muhammad Zulkifli Ismail on Wednesday. Tengku Maimun, having commuted the death sentence, ordered Zulkifli to serve a 35-year jail term beginning from the date of his arrest on December 7, 2015. Court of Appeal President Tan Sri Abang Iskandar Abang Hashim and Federal Court Judge Datuk Nordin Hassan also presided over the case. Previously, the Kuala Terengganu High Court gave the death penalty to Zulkifli after finding him guilty under Section 302 of the Penal Code for killing 37-year-old scrap metal collector Zulkifli Abdullah at a house in Kampung Labuhan, Kerteh at 10:30 a.m. on December 7, 2015. On October 25, 2021, Zulkifli appealed against the decision, but the federal court upheld the death sentence. The case went viral on social media, claiming that Zulkifli had committed the act in self-defense to fend off a robbery. In Sabah, a post-mortem report revealed that the death of Lahad Datu Police Chief's 14-year-old daughter was caused by a gunshot to the chest. State Deputy Police Commissioner Datuk Shahurinain Jais said the gunshot to the right chest was believed to have also hit the lungs and penetrated through the body. Shahurinain said that police had summoned 3 witnesses for statements and a Walther P99 pistol believed to be linked to the incident was also seized. He also said that the case has been classified as sudden death after investigations found no criminal elements in the incident. However, a comprehensive probe, including on the Standard Operating Procedures SOP for the control and handling of firearms, is still ongoing. The victim, the youngest of 4 siblings, was found dead in a pool of blood in her room at Taman Tabana on Tuesday. She was laid to rest at the Kampung Haji Kamis Muslim Cemetery at 5:30 p.m. on Wednesday. Still to come, hundreds evacuated after Indonesian volcano erupts. Don't go away.
Unlock the keys to lasting career success. Explore the fine lines between stability and growth and learn how to avoid stagnation.
I believe there's only one you and only you can be you. And you have to be unique.
Yes.
And if you're unique, that means you have something nobody else has.
When you want to be relevant in the industry and stay long for quite a while, so you have to keep on reinventing yourself, reinventing your skills.
Catch Women Talk on TV3, stream also on Tonton.
जन्मों का रिश्ता है हमारा
कभी यहाँ लौट कर मत आना
तेरी और तेरे शंकर की प्रेम कहानी का भी अंत होगा
शादी को हमें रोकना ही होगा
पर इस बार नहीं बच पाओगी निकालो तेरा परिवार तेरे साथ में
Ishq Dastan Nagmane, Isnin hingga Kamis 4 petang di Sonia TV3 dan stream sekarang melalui Tonton.
Awak.
Kenapa ni? Okey tak?
Tak okey. Saya terlepas drama favourite saya dekat Tonton. Macam mana nak tengok balik?
Awak ni buat suspense je lah. Dah download ke belum?
Awak ajarlah saya untuk download.
Alah. Okey macam ni. Cari aplikasi Tonton, lepas tu awak masukkan nombor telefon, email, password dan tekan sign up.
Oh, ni tinggal tunggu nombor TSC je lah.
Betul. Lepas ni awak kat dapur pun, awak masak kat dapur, awak dah boleh layan semua favourite awak.
Awak ni memang suami terbaik lah.
On to the foreign front. More than 6 months of continuous Zionist violence, at least 20 people, including children, were killed in strikes in Gaza on Wednesday. Residents of Nuseirat refugee camp in central Gaza said they were dealing with constant bombardment by Israeli forces. Following this, dozens of people who have been wounded and killed in the attacks were taken to Al-Aqsa Martyrs Hospital as housing and agricultural land in the area was destroyed due to the regime's operation into central Gaza. Separately, at least 7 law enforcement officials tasked with protecting aid and 2 bystanders have been killed in a Zionist army attack in Tufah neighborhood. To date, at least 33,899 Palestinians have been killed and 76,664 wounded in Israeli attacks on Gaza since October 7th. Meanwhile, Qatari Prime Minister Sheikh Mohammed bin Abdulrahman Al Thani on Wednesday said talks on a Gaza ceasefire and a release of hostages are at a delicate phase. He said there is still no sign of any breakthrough in the negotiations as Israel and Hamas each refuse to move on conditions the other side declares unacceptable.
المفاوضات ما بين سير قدما والتعثر ونمر في هذه المرحلة في مرحلة حساسة وفيها بعض من التعثر ونحاول في قدر الإمكان لمعالجة هذا التعثر والمضي قدما ووضع حد لهذه المعاناة التي يعانيها الشعب في غزة وأيضا استعادة الرهائن.
Sheikh Mohammed also condemned what he described as a policy of collective punishment being followed by Israel in Gaza as well as the occupied West Bank. A volcano in Indonesia's North Sulawesi province erupted several times on Wednesday, forcing hundreds of people to be evacuated after it spewed lava and a column of smoke into the sky. According to the country's volcanology agency, Mount Ruang, a stratovolcano in the province, first erupted at 9:45 p.m. local time on Tuesday and twice again in the early hours of Wednesday. The first eruption pushed an ash column 2 kilometers into the sky, with the second eruption pushing it to 2.5 kilometers. Following this, the alert level for the volcano, which has a peak of 725 meters above sea level, was raised from 2 to 3, the second highest possible level before the eruption. Authorities had also imposed a 4-kilometer exclusion zone around the crater, which is more than 100 kilometers north of provincial capital Manado. There were no reports of any deaths or injuries, but more than 800 people were evacuated from 2 villages on Ruang Island to the nearby island of Tagulanda. At least 65 people have died in storm-related incidents, including lightning in Pakistan, with rain so far in April falling at nearly twice the historical average rate. The country's meteorological department said Pakistan experienced precipitation levels exceeding the historical average by 99% from April 1st to April 17th, unleashing flash floods which caused houses to collapse. In the latest rains, 21 people, including farmers harvesting wheat, were killed by lightning in Punjab, while 8 people were killed in Balochistan province, where 25 districts were battered by rain and some areas were flooded. The largest death toll was in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, where 32 people have died and more than 1,300 homes damaged. Authorities said all the casualties resulted from the collapse of walls and roofs, adding that more downpours are predicted in the coming days. campaign on low note. Actions from the AFC U23 Asian Cup after this breather.
You were the one for me.
Saat-saat manis Gavin dan Dom tidak kekal lama.
To be your lover, forever Dominic Garcia.
Dan mereka mula saling menjauh.
We're drifting apart.
Ganito na lang ba tayo palagi, ha?
Ketika konflik memuncak, Tony muncul menggugat ikatan cinta. To have and to hold. Setiap Sabtu 12.30 hari. Di TV3 dan stream sekarang melalui tonton.
Wanita hari ini. Raya kan sebulan. Terus raikan kemeriahan Aidilfitri di Wanita hari ini.
Nak buat rumah terbuka tapi pening nak jamu menu apa?
Kami kongsikan idea dan inspirasi untuk rumah terbuka.
Awak, sekarang ni susah betul kita nak percayakan orang
Kena siasat dulu sebelum percaya sesiapa tau.
Aduh, kenapa dah ada rasa sempit
awak ada asma ke? Jangan ambil mudah.
Dalam rumah tangga perlu ada kerjasama antara pasangan.
Buatlah hidup harmoni.
Semuanya di Wanita hari ini TV3
dan stream di Tonton. Wanita hari ini.
Cerita panah ke?
Angin tu orang guna kipas.
Maafkanlah jika ada terlanjur perkataan.
Single, saya masih single.
Alhamdulillah, syukur.
Amin berkat.
Dah cukup 2 dah. Tak adalah nak balik kampung.
We're back with sports football, the 2024 AFC U23 Asian Cup. The Young Tigers suffered yet another defeat after losing 2-0 to Uzbekistan in their Group D opener on Wednesday night. Despite the national squad's early chances, Uzbekistan took the lead just 11 minutes into the game when Jasurbek Jalolidinov converted from the spot following a foul by Muhammad Shahir Barsha. The Harimau Muda were forced to hold back as the 2018 champion dominated the match and got another goal in the 83rd minute through Ulubek Koshimov, sealing a 2-0 win. Malaysia must win the remaining games to have a chance to advance to the next round. In Group C, Thailand got off to a dream start after they produced a big upset by beating 10-man Iraq 2-0 in their opener on Tuesday. Waris Chultong broke the deadlock in the 26th minute after slotting in the ball through the legs of Iraq's goalkeeper Hussein Hassan Amoyed Rasatib. Substitute Tirasek Poe Fimai then sealed the 3 points for the War Elephant with a header off a corner kick 5 minutes after the 1-hour mark. Things went from bad to worse for Iraq as Nihat Muhammad Owait Watifi was sent off after receiving a second yellow card 6 minutes later. In another action, Saudi Arabia survived a scare before securing a comfortable 4-2 win against Tajikistan in their Group C clash. The defending champions started on the front foot as Ryan Amidou found the breakthrough in the 17th minute. Tajikistan drew level 6 minutes later when Ruslan Kailawev fired a scorcher into the top corner. Haitham Muhammad Ali Abu Hawi Asiri made it 2-1 for Saudi Arabia just before the interval. Aiman Yahya Salim Ahmad then extended their lead 10 minutes into the second half with a well-placed shot before Yahya got his second with another quick break in the 61st minute to make it 4-1. Tajikistan pulled one back 3 minutes later through Rustam Soyrov, but the defending champions held on until the final whistle to secure the maximum points. On to tennis, the 2024 Stuttgart Open. Teenager Linda Noskova fired 8 aces as she took down 8-seeded Yelena Ostapenko in their first round clash on Wednesday. The 19-year-old Czech did not face any hurdle as she needed only 68 minutes to carve out a 6-3, 6-1 win against the Latvian. It's already her third win over a top 10 opponent this year, including an upset of world number 1 Iga Swiatek at the Australian Open. In another match, reigning Wimbledon champion Marketa Vondrousova eased past Donna Vekic 6-4, 6-3 in just 86 minutes. The Czech, who played her first match in over a month, will face either Lyudmila Samsonova or Anastasia Potapova in the second round. When Nightline returns, police nabbed man for murdering his infant son. Stay tuned.
Tak perlu
nak emosi pun. Sebab kita dah tak ada apa-apa dah kan. Tunggu masa je tak pulangkan saya dekat mak ayah saya.
Mami tak nak buang pinggang Daddy.
Saya banyak sia-siakan peluang yang awak bagi. Sebenarnya Daddy bukan manusia suci.
Mami pengsan?
Ya.
Ini deal yang selayaknya buat dia bagi. Kau ni merepek apa ni?
Boleh tak kalau sekali ni Mami menerima? Lambat tahu tak?
Iskandar Cempaka, Minggu akhir, Khamis hingga Sabtu, 9 malam di Lestari TV3.
Abang lepaskan kami?
Kau nampak gini dengan mak tu dia dekat pejabat agama. Kau ni dah jadi emosi.
Mama nak go work. Mama dah tak boleh duduk sini lagi tau. Tolonglah balik.
Aku boleh balik. Tapi aku takkan.
Wanita Syurga, Isnin hingga Jumaat 7 malam di Akasia TV3.
Lawyer, muntah dan cirit birit.
Kalau dah termakan tu, bila dah makan tu dah boleh rasa dah. Rasa dia pahit.
Lebih menggurunkan, dehidrasi akibat keracunan makanan boleh meragut nyawa.
Dah tak boleh, dah tak mampu nak berdiri.
Lihat, hidu dan rasa untuk elakkan keracunan makanan. Perbincangannya di Hello Doktor, Ahad 5.30 petang di TV3 dan stream juga melalui Tonton.
Nightline continues. Police arrested a man on suspicion of murdering his 6-month-old son, who was found unconscious in an apartment unit in Baranang, Selangor on Monday. Kajang Deputy Police Chief Superintendent Muhammad Nasir Rahman, in a statement on Wednesday, said that the 25-year-old local man was arrested at the Kajang Hospital Forensic Compound at 11:30 p.m. on the day of the incident. According to Nasir, the suspect lodged a police report at 8:52 a.m. informing that the baby was found unconscious in a residential unit at Baiduri Apartment, Bandar Tasik Kusuma. He added the initial examination found no injuries on the victim's body, but the results of the post-mortem confirmed there were injuries on the victim's head, which were not caused by an accident. Nasir also said that the suspect tested positive for shabu and he has been remanded for 7 days until April 22nd for further investigation. The case is being investigated under the Penal Code for murder. In Terengganu, the body of a baby boy was found in the toilet cistern at Kampung Pasir Simpul Mosque, Kuala Brang on Tuesday. According to the chairman of the village's Development and Security Committee, Muhammad Mustafa, the body was discovered by a cleaner at 7 p.m. while he was cleaning the women's toilets. The cleaner made the shocking discovery when he flushed the toilet cistern and blood-like liquid with a very foul smell came out. Thinking the toilet cistern was clogged, the cleaner attempted to dislodge it with a stick and saw the decomposed hand of the baby. Muhammad said the cleaner immediately called him before he rushed to the mosque and alerted the police. Hulu Terengganu Police Chief Deputy Superintendent Zainul Mujahidin Matyudin confirmed the incident and said the baby boy was believed to have died more than 24 hours before being found. Further investigations are ongoing and police are currently tracking down the suspects. The case is being investigated under the Penal Code for concealing a birth. As we close this edition of Nightline, let's take a look as artists and activists sculpted a giant installation made of plastic waste ahead of Earth Day to highlight the problem of single-use plastic pollution and inspire behavioral change in New York. With that, I'm Nadia Azmi. Thank you for tuning in and stay safe.